Good, happy Monday morning and happy Memorial Day, everyone. I'm Riley King, broadcasting live in the Lakes Region studio. Let's begin. Border Patrol conducting checkpoint on Interstate 93. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
What's the excitement? It's because 7 numbers. There aren't even 7 in this bar.
Play Keno 603 today with drawings every 5 minutes. Your win time could be anytime.
Hey there.
Oh, hi.
Can I get your numbers?
No. Use my numbers.
A line of cars, trucks, and SUVs slowly inch their way down I-93 South. Just ahead, U.S. Border Patrol agents stand on the side of the highway with stop signs. One by one, they go from vehicle to vehicle, checking in with drivers and passengers.
And there were officers there with dogs, and there was a big white van, and there were about 50 to 100 cars stopped.
Jenna Shanwald was coming home from a day of hiking when she was stopped at the checkpoint.
When we got up to an officer, he asked us if we were U.S. citizens. We said yes, and he said, you can go on your way.
And now these searches actually happen often here in New Hampshire, but last year one was clouded in controversy after a New Hampshire judge ruled that some searches were unconstitutional. During last year's stops, several dozen people were charged with allegedly possessing small amounts of drugs for personal use. The ACLU represented 16 of them in a lawsuit fighting the charges. In the end, the courts concluded their Fourth Amendment rights were violated, highlighting evidence collected by Customs and Border Protection agents could not be used in court. Attorneys representing the government in that case said the agents were in their jurisdiction and did not need warrants to conduct searches of people's vehicles. As for Sunday's search, it's not clear as to what exactly agents were looking for. An official at the checkpoint told News 9 they were not at liberty to discuss specifics. State and local police say they are not part of the process. We did reach out to the Border Patrol Public Information Officer for more information, but have not heard back as of airtime. Reporting in Woodstock, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. One person dies in double shooting in Brockton. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Right now, there's been a deadly shooting in the city of Brockton, and Sarah Kanji is at the scene right now with what we know. Sarah?
Randy, we are here on Oak Street this morning in Brockton. You can see it is still an active crime scene here. Brockton and state police have set up, cordoned off a section of the parking lot in the Madrid condo complex. We're told that shortly after midnight, 2 people here were shot. One did not make it. The other victim was transported to Good Samaritan Hospital. Now, the extent of those injuries is still not known. Obviously, this is very early in the investigation. We're waiting to hear more about exactly what happened and about those victims, possibly what led to this shooting. But again, a double shooting in the Madrid Square condominiums on Oak Street. One person is dead, another transported to the hospital. As soon as we learn more information, we'll bring it to you. Live in Brockton, Sarah Kanji, WCVB News Center 5.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Former President George H.W. Bush hospitalized in Maine. A spokesperson for George H.W. Bush says the 41st President of the United States has been hospitalized in Maine. The 93-year-old was experiencing low blood pressure and fatigue on Sunday, according to a spokesman, Jim. Jim says Bush is likely to remain in the hospital for the next few days for observation. He adds that the former president is awake and alert at Southern Maine Health Care. Bush was recently admitted to a Houston hospital last month after contracting an infection that spread to his blood the day after a funeral was held for his wife, Barbara Bush. He was discharged from the hospital on May 4th. President George H.W. Bush was taken to Southern Maine Health Care today after experiencing low blood pressure and fatigue. He will likely remain there for the next few days. The former president is awake and alert and not in any discomfort. That was a tweet that they sent earlier today. Bush's latest hospitalization comes one day after he attended a pancake breakfast in Kennebunkport, near his summer home, where he met with several military veterans ahead of Memorial Day. Bush arrived in Kennebunkport last week, about a month after his death of his wife of 73 years. Bush has spent the past part of his summer in Maine since childhood, with the exception of the time he served as a naval aviatory during World War II. Bush served as president from 1989 to 1993. And all of us here at the Riley King Network, our thoughts and prayers are with Mr. George H.W. Bush. Oil prices could soon spike toward $100 a barrel, regardless of OPEC and Russia, strategists say. OPEC kingpin Saudi Arabia is determined to keep oil prices trading around current levels, one strategist told CNBC Monday, but a total shutdown in Venezuela production could soon prompt crude futures to skyrocket toward $100 a barrel. Flash floods turn Maryland's town's Main Street into raging, muddy river. A small Maryland town's Main Street metamorphosed into a raging, muddy river on Sunday. Flash flood caused storefronts in Ellicott City, located just outside of Baltimore, to become engulfed by brown, soupy water from nearby Pascataquask River. Parked cars on the street slid and collided into each other. A state of an emergency was declared by the state's Governor Larry Hogan. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday and have a lovely Memorial Day, everyone. And I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.